are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is, there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary statistics.
Welcome to Truth Leaks Royal, your new channel for the wildest truths and stories the industry doesn't want you to hear. Let's dive straight into it, because this whole David situation keeps taking turns nobody saw coming. At this point, it honestly wouldn't surprise anyone if Celeste's family decided to take things to court, not only against him, but maybe even against his label too. Nothing's confirmed yet, let's make that clear. But with how everything's been unfolding, the silence, the strange clips, and the missing details, it's starting to feel like something legal might be building up fast. David's labeled Dark Room under Intercope has been quiet like they're walking on thin ice. No statements, no explanations, not even a basic comment. The only one who's spoken publicly is his manager Josh Marshall, who straight up denied any connection to what happened to Celeste Rivas-Hernandez. But beyond that, crickets. And when a label stays this silent during chaos, that's never a good sign. But hold up, it gets even more unsettling. While people keep whispering about lawsuits, that might not even be the real story anymore. What's reportedly surfacing about Celeste's final hours could flip this entire case upside down. If these new details turn out to be true, everything we thought we knew about this situation could be completely rewritten. Something about Celeste's case has never sat right with anyone, not from day one. Recovered.
You can see the personality, what they're wearing something pretty distinctive, and there's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier, a person at the house.
The timeline's full of gaps in David's reaction. It's been strange from the start. After canceling all his tour dates, he completely vanished from the spotlight. No appearances, no statements, no energy at all. And even though law enforcement hasn't publicly labeled him a suspect, the fact remains he had a relationship with someone far too young, and that alone raises serious questions. You can feel how cautious Celeste's family has been through all this. They haven't spoken publicly, but their silence feels calculated, like they're quietly collecting every piece of evidence before making their next move. It's the type of silence that screams preparation, because honestly, if this whole thing were just one big misunderstanding, wouldn't someone have cleared the air by now? David himself hasn't said a word. No interviews, no comments, not even a short rip post for the girl who, according to several sources, was his girlfriend. That silence cuts deep. Sure, he couldn't attend the funeral for understandable reasons, but saying something online would have shown a bit of respect. And that's when things took a wild turn. Out of nowhere, a private investigator stepped in, and what he revealed flipped everything upside down. Just a few days ago, Steve Fisher finally went public about what he uncovered. And get this, he didn't sound like a man chasing attention. He sounded exhausted, like someone haunted by what he'd seen. Steve Fisher laid it all out. After months of digging, there's still no confirmed footage showing Celeste at that property. Everyone keeps mentioning none. Instead, what he found were photos believed to be taken by David himself. But here's the twist. They weren't from a phone. These were snapped on a regular camera, and the backgrounds didn't even match the rumored house. They were clearly taken at totally different spots around the city. During that part of the interview, Fisher started connecting the dots. He explained that the photos suggested Celeste might have been staying somewhere else entirely, possibly near downtown LA. The last known image of her was dated January 2nd, 2025, and that one small detail completely flipped the timeline everyone thought they knew.
Any of her at that property. We have pictures of her and that were taken by David, we assume, because it's not on a camera phone, but these photos are on a regular camera at different locations, and it really makes me think that it's likely she had another place she was staying. I can tell you that there was a lot of time spent towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd.
It didn't line up at all with the version of events that had been circulating online. Then things got even crazier once Reddit got involved. A thread appeared titled, "Proof David rented his first place in Hollywood while still renting Celeste's secret hideout." It claimed David had been paying for 2 different places at the same time, one near Hollywood and another much closer to where Celeste was eventually found. Fans started asking why that second property was never searched. Was that where she stayed while he was away on tour? And just when it felt like people couldn't dig any deeper, one Reddit user dropped a detail that caught everyone's attention. One Reddit user pointed out something that made everyone pause. Look at that date. He got rid of it in March. They claimed that whatever went down likely happened in early 2025, January or February. And then, out of nowhere, the property was suddenly listed for rent again by March.
Minimum, it's the concealment of a body, right? So we know somebody did that. Hopefully it's not, a mutilation. Hopefully those initial reports were wrong about her being dismembered. But one thing I have to say, even
once people checked the property history, it showed that David had rented it, then quickly gave it up around the same time the last photo of Celeste was taken. The timing felt way too perfect to be coincidence. Another comment added even more fuel to the mystery, saying, "It all just keeps looping back around." Even in one of his songs, he mentions, "Don't run away. I've got a place you can stay." It was probably this property. Now, none of this has been officially proven, but when you stack up the details, photos dated in January, the house back on the market by March, and those eerie lyrics, it's no surprise people started connecting the dots. Still, with all the online theories swirling, we can't ignore the official facts. Authorities haven't ruled Celeste's past as a confirmed crime. The medical examiner hasn't publicly shared an exact cause. And to this day, David hasn't been named a suspect. But the inconsistencies that Steve Fisher uncovered are impossible to ignore. They make you question everything about that night. And just when Fisher started breaking down what he'd actually seen, the whole tone shifted. You could feel the air change. It was like he knew something the rest of the world wasn't ready to hear. Fisher didn't spill every detail, but he dropped one phrase that made everyone freeze. He mentioned signs of what he called a twisted plan.
They talked about how we found some things that could have meant they had a really twisted plan in place to get rid of her. It never went in motion, so
it didn't line up at all with the version of events that had been circulating online. Then things got even crazier once Reddit got involved. A thread appeared titled, "Proof David rented his first place in Hollywood while still renting Celeste's secret hideout." It claimed David had been paying for 2 different places at the same time, one near Hollywood and another much closer to where Celeste was eventually found. Fans started asking why that second property was never searched. Was that where she stayed while he was away on tour? And just when it felt like people couldn't dig any deeper, one Reddit user dropped a detail that caught everyone's attention. One Reddit user pointed out something that made everyone pause. Look at that date. He got rid of it in March. They claim that whatever went down likely happened in early 2025, January or February. And then, out of nowhere, the property was suddenly listed for rent again by March.
Address where David is seen filming many TikToks, and after digging further, they found many videos and pictures of him at this house with Celeste. Like, this is the kitchen. This is his live stream with Celeste in the same kitchen. Here they're posing in front of a picture, and in the bathroom there's that same picture.
Something that might have involved steps or tools meant to make Celeste disappear. Thankfully, whatever that plan was, it never fully happened. But the fact that someone could have even thought about doing something like that, that's beyond disturbing. Now, this next part didn't come from Pfizer himself. It came from a viewer's theory that's been spreading like wildfire online. And while there's no proof it's true, it definitely captures what a lot of people have been whispering about since day one. The post said, "I've been saying it since the day after the body was found, and before I even knew who this guy was, that the body was in the Tesla when he left for tour. The whole tour was just his cover, an alibi for plausible deniability." That viewer went on to suggest it could have been anyone who placed her there, maybe someone close, maybe a stranger, because he wasn't even in the same state at the time. And for weeks, the comments under that post exploded with people claiming this theory explained everything, including why the car was allegedly abandoned.
4 minutes from the LA home. He had this home at the same time he had the other home, so people are thinking its sole purpose was to hide Celeste. And mysteriously, at the beginning of this year, it went up for rent around the same time Celeste went missing. And just days before the private investigator came out and said that he knows who the last person is who drove David's Tesla, he posted this. He said, "You don't get answers unless you ask questions, so I'll ask, was it Neo?" Neo was a very close friend of David's. They were seen a lot together. So much so that they had a relationship that people speculated was more than just friends. But whether or not he was involved and
Another user summed it up with raw frustration. "This might be one of the clearest, most careless cases I've ever seen. The man basically documented their whole relationship in his music, the songs, the outfits, even her purses, and still thought hiding her face would throw off the internet or the cops. That kind of arrogance," people said, "is what made this whole story even harder to stomach." Even though none of those theories have been proven, the fact that so many people find them believable says a lot about how strange this whole situation has become. At this point, it's not even about what's on camera anymore. It's about what's missing. The gaps, the silence, the parts of the timeline no one seems willing to explain. Those blanks might hold the truth everyone's been searching for. And if this case ever makes it to court, which it's starting to sound like it might, those hidden details could end up being the key to everything. Then there's another piece that makes this story even more complicated: Celeste's age. Some of David's own friends reportedly told investigators they had no idea she was underage. They said they thought she was a 19-year-old college student. She was even seen attending USC events and sneaking into 21-plus clubs and parties. Later on, police confirmed that Celeste had several fake IDs, and that explained how she was getting into places she technically shouldn't have been. That's what makes this story so tragic. It blurs the line between what might have been manipulation and what might have been pure confusion. But here's where things take another strange turn. Around the same time all of this started to unravel, reports surfaced claiming that David quietly transferred 2 of his Houston area homes into a trust under his mother's name. One of those properties was reportedly the same address that got swatted back in September. That fake 911 call that sent police storming his family's home in the middle of the night.
Celeste's family knew about her relationship with David and allowed it. And this comment from 2024 is getting a lot of attention. So someone in Celeste's community commented on a post saying, "I live in Lake Elsinore, 5 to 10 minutes away. There was so much more going on. Her family knew he was with her since she was 11. They didn't care. All they cared for was the money given."
The timing of that move raised even more eyebrows. On paper, transferring those properties could look like simple estate planning, but to a lot of people watching, it screamed damage control, like someone trying to lock down their assets before everything hits the fan. And honestly, that's the part that sticks, the way everyone's just moving in silence, pretending nothing's happening. In this industry, that kind of quiet never means peace. It usually means somebody's protecting something or someone. If Celeste's family decides to move forward with legal action, things could get ugly fast. The label might find itself right in the middle of it all. Because if it turns out they ignored warning signs or stayed quiet about what they already knew, that's not just bad PR, that's straight up negligence. And no amount of press statements or rebranding could clean that up. At this point, people don't even seem angry anymore. They just look drained. Every new update reopens the same wound over and over again. And as for David, it's hard to even find the words. No matter how talented someone is, once your name gets tied to something this dark, the music stops hitting the same way. Those songs that once had meaning now just sound different. You can't even listen without thinking about everything that's come out. And maybe it's not just me, because when people talk about his music now, it's not admiration anymore. It's discomfort, it's confusion. It's like everyone's trying to figure out how to feel, and no one's sure if they ever will again. You can drop new songs, announce new tours, or post long apologies, but once your name gets tied to loss, it sticks forever. No PR move can erase that kind of stain. And right now, nobody really knows where this story goes next. But one thing history has shown us again and again: secrets never stay buried for long. Sooner or later, the truth either comes out or someone makes sure it never does. And honestly, both of those outcomes are terrifying in their own way. Because no matter how you look at it, what's been done can't be undone. If this lawsuit really happens, and from the looks of things, it just might, it won't only shake up David's career, it'll blow open the entire system that allowed this story to stay quiet for so long. And once that happens, there's no coming back from it. So if you want to stay locked in with the latest updates as this story unfolds, Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Spillhood for the newest news. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.